This is going to be a state-driven tabbed interaction. I'm going to do this a little more streamlined. I'm not going to do any of that expectation failure stuff like we did in class. So I'm just going to go through the real quick of it, all right? First thing is we have this button here, Connecticut. I know I want 3 other ones, but I also want to know that I want to kind of do some stuff and things to this. So instead of repeating myself, I'm just going to go ahead and say edit states. Let's see, I know I want the visited state because we're going to do the other things later. I'm going to say add. And simply all I'm going to do is make this gray, just so I know that I've been there and done that. I am now going to duplicate this darn thing 3 times. Okay, tricky stuff. And now I'm going to change it to the content I need, Rojo. Maduro. And we'll go with Habano. Habano. Okay. I'm going to space these out a little bit, so I'm going to put this down here. Highlight it. And let's see, I'm going to go to format quick because I like doing this one here. So just to make sure, I'm going to use this one up here to make sure it's all aligned left, which it is. Then I'm going to go to arrange, align, and way down here is distribute vertically because that's up and down. There we go. Doesn't that look nice? So I didn't have to do much, but if you look on the states of these buggers, boom. Okay? Great. Didn't save us much time, but it did in fact save us time. So what I did here is I have these chapters, okay? One thing that you should probably get into the habit of, like I said earlier, is what are we going to do? So I'm going to do Command-T to get my text box, and I'm just going to say click each item below to continue. Now saying it this way means they have to click each item below, which will then allow them to continue, so that whole gated navigation we discussed can actually be done later, okay? So that's just what I'm going to do, is put on some directions up here. I'm going to put directions in italics, just so every time they see something in italic heretofore, they know that's directions for them, okay? So great, there we go, we got it. Now that we have our chapters, we need to make our book. So again, I'm going to go to Insert, Text Box, and just put a text box in here. Grab some content. What I want to do, the Connecticut, I think, right? Whoa. We're going to go ahead and make this look okay. That is way too big. I'm going to knock that down to, let's say, 14. Well, no, 12. I mean, that's what humans do, so 12. So that's my content right here. I do want to align it with this, so here, I'm going to go to format. I see that my Y is 180, so I'm going to click on this and make sure that my Y is also 180, so the top of our words connect. I actually don't like that at all. I'll do it with the bottom. Okay, cool, great. Now, I want to make sure I'm naming my stuff, right? So this, 1, cool. This, 2, with an O. This, 3. And finally this, 4. Okay? And then this here is my book and or my content. Spelling and typing is really spot on right now. And I'm just going to call this instructions. Okay? So we should be good. That's my header. Cool. Now we're fine. But like I said before, we don't really want to have whatever this is got going on shown first. We want to let them feel as if they're in control of the content. They're in control of how stuff and things are going. Really quick, I don't like how high that is. So I'm going to move that down. Okay, great. We're good. So that's why I'm going to go to my book. I'm going to go to states. I'm going to say edit states. I'm going to go ahead and just do, now, before, just in case something happens, I know what's going to happen here. So I'm going to take my content, Control C. No. And I'm going to add my first chapter. My first chapter is 1, which is Connecticut, so I can keep that in there. But the normal state, I want to kind of give this. And I'll just say like something along the lines like, rappers make a cigar taste different, blah. I'm just going to grab that. Okay. So that would be kind of, you know what? I actually have information on that. I don't know why I just did that. There. Okay? So that's information there. So that's just normal. Now they know they have to do this. Now I'm going to do my 1. My 1 is Connecticut. So all my content related to Connecticut is going to be here. Now, just like we discussed in class, I want to make sure that they know they're in Connecticut. This particular one. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to make it bold. Maybe even make it a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to add that line I did. So I'm just going to grab a shape. I'll grab this line. And maybe I'll do something like this. Ooh, look at that. Fancy. See what I did there? And I'll make it red. Give it a little something. Let's go with lucky number 3. And I'm also going to put an animation on that. And this is really nothing more than to kind of draw some attention to it. And I do just want to do a entrance animation because, again, I want it to remain on screen the whole entire time, okay? So there you have it. One thing I don't have is I'd like for that to be red as well. So what I'm going to do is actually grab this, Command-C, edit states, go back to it, Command-V. See how I put it exactly where it's supposed to? And then I can make it red like I want. Okay? Beautiful. Got all that information on there. Everything looks good. And now this is really helpful because when I get back to done editing, and I click on this, what I want to do, I want to change the state of this content area to reflect Connecticut. So I'm going to say change the state of content, right, my book, to what chapter? To chapter 1. And I want to do that when the user clicks on my little button here that I also named chapter 1. So these are aligning quite nicely. So I'm going to hit OK. Now when I preview it, there you have it. Click each item. Okay, so I'll click on this. And it doesn't look the greatest, but you get the point. So now I just have to go through the rest of these, right? So let me do that. I'll just do one more. I don't want to bog you down with too much of this. So the cool thing with kind of getting into this idea of getting to repurpose, getting faster and all that stuff, what I'm going to do now is go to states. I'm going to click on edit states in 1, and now I'm going to click duplicate, but I want to call it 2. Now that I've duplicated that, you see how everything's still there? So now all I have to do is, what am I doing now? Carrojo. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Carrojo and do this. Okay. Change this to Corrojo. Change this to Corrojo. Now, am I really like winning an award with how much faster I'm doing this? No. But I'm saving some time, right? Let me get this little bugger down there. Hang on. Clicking the button, clicking the button. Clicking the button. So close. Okay. Now, it might not be exact right now. We can deal with that stuff later. The other thing I have to do is deal with this, right? So I know I definitely want to keep that underline there, so I'm going to, that was weird. I'm going to do that. I'm going to add another one. And I'm going to add one more. Okay. Make sure everybody's matching to what it's supposed to. So go to Format, keep it like that, drop it down, go to my weight, lucky number 3. And I want to add an animation so it looks like it's one darn thing and not a whole bunch of them coming in. So all I have to do is select it, right-click on it, go to Group, and now I just add my wipe like I did. Okay. Looks good. Yeah, great. I come back to my base layer. I'm going to say Done Editing. I come back to my base layer, which I'm just going to call this real quick Wrappers. And I need to do this again. So I'm going to say this time, I still want to change the state of content, but instead of going to Chapter 2, I want to go to, Chapter 1. I want to go to 2 when user clicks 2. Okay? So here we go. Let's preview it. Click on Connecticut, information changes, good to go. Go to Corojo, information changes, and oh my gosh, that is way off. So I'll deal with that. But you can see that not only did it work, saved me some time, we look good, and I got my visited state. So it's going to bug me. I know this is... Okay, so there. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and do all of these because you get the point, right? So seeing it, having it done twice is one thing. I do want to show you again real quick with this one how we did the next button, okay? So right now when I preview this, I do in fact have this next button down here. See it? This little arrow? I don't want that. I want to make sure that they click on Connecticut and Corojo before that shows up. And I don't want to do that by going in here and getting rid of that because it won't give me access to it anymore, right? So instead what I'm going to do is say, I want to change the state of that next button to hidden or disabled. But when do I want it to happen? I want it to happen right away, right when that timeline starts. And then, of course, the timeline is Wrappers. As you see, it's the one that we're on, okay? And then I can ask myself some more questions. Well, when do I want it to appear? Well, I want it to appear when both of these, or in your case, all 4 of them are like we did in class, we want to say change the state of the next button to normal when the state, so here it is, it's the only one that says anything about state, see that? When the state of what? Well, in my case, when the state of 1 and 2 are visited, okay? So now when I preview this, no next button. See it? Bottom right down here? Ba, 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 ba. But if I go to Connecticut, that beautiful animation, I go to Corojo, that beautiful animation, you see down here? There it is. It made it. So there you go. That's state-driven. And that is a very ideal way of doing this if, in fact, the information, right? So if your content is okay to change and not need to be referenced to the other ones, okay? So that is State Video.